Okay, so in this section we'll talk about Dax function. Now, Dax function is a formula expression language used in Power BI, and the word Dax stands for data analysis expression. Dax function is similar to Excel function, we know. So when in Excel we have functions, that Excel functions. The same thing applies to Power BI. In Power BI Power BI has its own functions and is somehow similar to Excel function. Yes. And this Dax function too can be used in Power Pivot in Excel. Now, for you to perform advanced calculations and queries on data in related tables and columns, here you need Dax functions to do that. So we have thousands of Dax functions. I mean, the function can be blended in so many ways, right? Good. Now in this section I'll take you through the most important functions you'll be using most time working with data. So I have loaded the financials data set, right? This financial is the default data set, right? So we'll be using this for the Dax function. Okay, now let's go to the table view to check the whole data. So this is the data we have, and then here we will be applying the Dax function to work with this data. Okay, so let's come out with our first Dax function. Let's say you wanted to sum up the sales. You wanted to know the grand total sales. Now here we have so many ways to come out with the grand total sales. We can use the card. Here we have this card here to display the grand total. So this card here, and then I'll drag the sales into this field, and here it will automatically display the sales for you. Right, that's the grand total sales. Add everything and then give you the value. So you see that here is our sum of sales. We can also change it to average. If you want the average sales, so this is the average sales. If you want the minimum value, so this is the minimum value, minimum of sales, this is the maximum, and so on. Right, good. And all these things too, this is way of doing it without writing any Dax function. We can also write Dax function to also calculate for these sales, right? So let's see. So here I go to new measure. I'll create new measure. I click on new measure. Okay, so we have a measure here. Let me zoom in. Okay, so this is the measure. All right, good. And this measure is specifically for it's used for a calculation created within a table of data. All right, good. So that's the purpose of this measure. And all our Dax function is we'll be assigning it to a measure. Now the measure, this is the default name. So let's clear it and give it a name. So let's give it a name. So let's say grand total sales. And we say that grand total sales is equal to sum, and then here we are interested in the sales. Good. And then we close the close the bracket. Now this financials here is the table name, financials, and then the sales here is the field name. So this is the field name, and this is the table name. So imagine if you have here, we only have one table, right? So if you have more than one table and you wanted to do some kind of calculation, you select the table name followed by the column name, right? Good. And here you press enter for it to create the measure. Good. So when you look here, you can see that here we have our grand total sales. So these signs represent that this particular field is a measure, right? Good. Now let's go to the report view and then let's display the value for grand total sales. So here we use the card. The purpose of the card is to help to display the measure. So here click on the card and then you drag and you drop the field here. Good. You see that here we have the same values, right? This is the one without any Dax function, and this is the one with the Dax function, right? Good. Okay, now let's also come out with another function. So this is sum. You can do the same thing for average, minimum, maximum. So you can change here to average, can change here to average, can change here also to minimum, the same idea, minimum or maximum, and so on and so forth, right? Good. Now because we are coming to create we are coming to create more than one Dax function. The Dax function, you can create multiple Dax function. So here we don't want our measures to be scattered in the field, the financials table here. So what the best practice is that we will create a folder, then we will, in that folder, we will put all the measures inside that folder. You put all the measures inside that folder. So let's create that folder. So you select your measure, your first measure, then go to the model view, and then inside the model view you go to properties. You go to properties, then you scroll down to see the display folder, and make sure that you have selected your first measure, which is the grand total sales. Good. And then here you type the folder name, measure. So the folder name can be anything, the folder name can be anything, but here let's make it a measure. Good. And you press enter, then here it automatically creates the measure for you. Good. Now this is the measure, has a folder name measure, and under this folder we have the grand total sales. So here I can collapse it, I can expand it, and then also yes. So this is the measure. Okay, now so inside this folder is where you put all the measures. Okay, so let's go back to the table view, and then let's also come out with another function. Now if we want to create a new function, if you click on a new measure, this new measure will create a measure outside the folder. It will create the measure outside the folder. Now we don't want it to be in that way. We want all the measures in one folder. Good. So what we do is that you come to the measure folder. You see these three dots here, you click on it and go to new measure. Select the new measure. You select the new measure, and then this is the default name. Right, good. So let's come out with another function, that function. Now let's talk about the calculated function. Okay, now let's check the country column. Now if you check the country column, we have so many countries in this column. We have Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, and then the United States of America. Right, good. Now let's say that you wanted to know the total sales for only Canada. we wanted to know the total sales for only Canada. Right, good. So when we pick Canada, we know the total sales or grand total sales for only Canada. Okay, so here we will use the calculated function to do that. Now this calculator function is one of the most powerful and then the most frequently used functions in Dax function, right? And it's used to modify the filter context, right? Good. So we will filter the table to Canada, then we will find the total sales. Okay, so let's try that one. So here I'll go to this three dots here. I'm creating a new measure, right? So I'll select the folder, the measure folder, the three dots, then click on new measure. Now let's give the measure name. So let's give it let's say total sales for Canada. Good, that's the total sales for Canada. So here you go by the calculated function, right? Good. So I'll say calculated, and then inside this calculated function I'll specify the expression, say sum, and then the kind of field I wanted to calculate. Here I wanted to calculate for the sales, so I'll select the sales and then I'll close the brackets for the sales, for the sum, then I'll bring the comma, and then here, okay, now because I have zoomed the formula bar, what I will do is that let me do this at the next line. So here I'll press shift and enter to go to the next line. Right, good. Okay, and then here followed by the sales, right, the sales column. So I'll say sales. So here I'm looking for the sales. Good. For the sales, and then no, not the sales, rather is the country, followed by the country. Good, because I wanted to find the total sales for only Canada, right? Good. So this is the country. So the country, and here I'll assign it to, or I'll filter it to Canada. So I'll say Canada, and because I'm dealing with a text, anytime you are writing text, make sure that you put the text in double quotation, right? And then also be mindful of the name, because this one it's a filter, right? So we have to type the exact name. So this is Canada and this is Canada, right? Exact name. Okay, so let's see the outcome. Okay, so here we have created the total sales for Canada, right, in the same folder. So here when you collapse it, yeah, so it's in the same folder. Now let's use the card to display it. So I'll go to the report view, and then here I'll click on card. Good, and then I'll come to the total. To the cursor, let me expand this more. So I'll drag the total sales for Canada to the field here. Good, now it has displayed the total sales for Canada, right? Good. Okay, so here this value here is for only Canada. If you wanted to do it for the rest of the country, to follow the same function, you follow the same functions to do that, right? Good. Okay, so let's also assume that here you wanted to find the the total sales for, let's say, Germany and Mexico. These are the two countries, right? Germany and Mexico. So let's go to the table view. Let's say I wanted to find out the total sales for, let's say, yeah, we have Germany here and Mexico. These two countries, the total sales for these two countries, right? Okay, let's also try that one. So here you go to the same idea. You go to the new measure. Go to the measure here, the new measure, and we have the measure here. Good. Now let's give it a name. Let's give the measure a name. So let's say that let's say total sales for Mexico and Germany. Alright, the Germany, because of, okay, let me type all Germany equals. Good. Then I'll press, I want the function to be next line, so I'll press shift enter to next line. Good. Then here I'll start writing the function. So the same idea, the calculated function, and then I'll start with the expression. So I'll say sum. It's not always sum. You can try average, right? You can try average, you can try minimum or maximum. Yes, you can try all those things, but here let's use sum. Good. So sum of sales. Good. Then let me close the expression, and then let's move to the filter parts. So here, meaning that I'm filtering it based on two countries, which is Mexico and Germany. So I'll say country, with the country, and then here I'll bring the in function. So in the in function, let me go to the next line. So shift enter to the next line, and here, because I'm dealing with two countries or two tests, I will bring the curly brackets, and then I'll type the Mexico name first, Mexico, and then also close the double quotes, comma, then followed by the next test, which is Germany. So I'll say Germany. Write this. Say Germany. Germany. Then here I'll close it. Good. And then close the final bracket. Good. Then press enter. Okay, so here this function is the total sales for Mexico and Germany together, right? So to add the Mexico and to add the Germany sales together, right? Good. Now let's go to the report view, and then here let's display it. Okay, so let me use the card. Good. And then I'll drag and drop the measure here. Okay, yes, so this is the measure, right? Good. Okay, so this is when you are dealing with what? You are dealing with two things at the same time, right? Good. So yeah, that's the country and then the German, and this idea can be applied to the same thing, can apply to products and so on and so forth, right? The same thing, the segments, anything, right? Good. Okay, so let's create a new page, right, and try to make some insight from this measure. Okay, so I'll create a new page. Now let's say that you wanted to know each product and their total sales in Mexico and Germany. Each product and their total sales in Mexico and Germany. Okay, now you know that the Mexico and Germany, we have what? We have calculated for the total sales for Mexico and Germany. Right. So let's use this star column charts. So we have this star column chart here, and then here we have X and Y axis. So here the product will go to the X axis, and then the total sales for Mexico and Germany. We are looking for the product sales in Mexico and Germany only, right? Good. So this is the product, and then we drag and drop the measure, which is the total sales for Mexico and Germany, to the X axis. Good. So here this one will give us this charts. So these charts stand for each product and their total sales, in Mexico and Germany. Right, good. So when you put the cursor here, this one is about let's say 12 million plus. Yeah, 12 million plus. That are sales in Mexico and Germany. That's the product name is Paseo. Alright, and we take this product to the VTT product, the total sales in Mexico and Germany, that's about 6 million, right? So that's how you can use measure to come out with a chart, right? Okay. Now let's go back to the page 1. Now let's continue exploring the Dax function. So let's go to the next Dax function, right? So the next Dax function is when you want to work with or want to calculate two columns at the same time, right? Two columns at the same time. Let's say you wanted to know the Germany, the profit for Germany in government. Right, good. So when you take, let's say, Germany, these are Germany, you can find Germany in the country column, and you can find government in the segment column. Alright, good. Now let's say that when you take Germany, the segment consists of this is the same data we'll be using in our previous section, so it's the same. You know this data already. So this is the channels, partners, the enterprises, governments, mid-market, and small business. Right, good. Now based on Germany, we wanted to know the profit Germany made in government segment. Right, the profit. So meaning that here we have to filter these two columns based on Germany and then government. You can do it this way. Click here, and then you can uncheck everything, and then here you check the government, you filter it like this, so you can see that all the values here are government. The same thing when you come to the country section, you can also filter it based on Germany. Right, good. So all these values here are for the country and then Germany. So the same thing when it comes to the profits, this is the profit, right? We can do that. Okay, now let's write Dax function to do the calculation for us, right? Good. So let me clear the filters. I'm going to clear all filter to clear all the filters. Good. So the same idea here. Click on this three dot, go to new measure. Good. And here let's give it a name. So I will say that that's the measure, create a measure. So say profit for Germany in government. So government, let me use the GOV first to start for government. Okay, let me go to the next line. Good. Okay, so this time around let's use the average, right? So I will say average profits for Germany in government. So let me use the AVG to stand for average profit, right? So this is average, this stands for average, or if else the name will be the measurement name will be too long. Okay, so here let's start so still the calculated function will come. We start with the expression. The first, can look here, the first one is the expression followed by the filters, right? Good. So here I will see profit. Okay, sorry, average, because we are dealing with average. So average and into bracket, I will say profit. Select the profit and then I'll close the average bracket followed by the filter. So here the first one is we are filtering it based on country, right? Okay. Okay. So let's say country. Good. And here, because we are dealing with Germany, I will assign it to Germany. So I'll say Germany. Then close it. Good. And I'll bring another comma here. That's another filter, right? So I'll say segment. Good. And segment, assign it to the government. Okay. And one thing is I have to be careful with the name, right? The names, you have to be careful, because if you type the name wrongly, it won't give you the output. Okay, so let me mistake here. Okay, so government. Okay, good, that's correct. Okay, press enter. Okay, so this is the measure. We have created it here, right? Good. Okay, so let's go back to the report view, and then let's use the card to display. Okay, so I'll drag and drop the average profit for Germany in government. So this is the average profit for Germany in government, and this name here you can change it, right? Yes, the label here you can change it. So let's try changing it. So you go to the format your visual, and then you go to the category labels, and then you can off it. So that when off it, so on and off, right? So you can off it, and then you go to general, and then the general section you can on the title, and then you type the title name here. Let's say Germany here. Right? You see that here you are typing the title top here. So let's type some title here. Let's say average profits for Germany. Germany, and let's say and government. Yes, let me use the GOV for the government. So I see that here we have the title here. Good. So you can format this chart the way you want it to be. Right. Okay, so now let's talk about the next function, which is the time intelligent function. Okay, now time intelligent functions, these functions, we have a lot of time intelligent functions, but here we'll be talking about two, which is the dates between, and then dates in period. Now these time intelligent functions allow you to filter a table or a column by a specific period. Alright, good. So for example, let's talk about this date, the dates column here. Good. We have this column. So when you take this date column, we have different types of dates here. I mean the year, and then the day, the month, and so forth and so on. Now let's say that you wanted to do some kind of calculation in between a certain period, right? Let's say you wanted to calculate the profit within 3 months, or wanted to calculate the profit within, let's say, 6 months, or maybe a day or weeks or something, right? Good. Here we use the time between, because we are dealing with between this period and this period, right? So let's say we are in the 2024 and we wanted to calculate the profit we made from, let's say, January to, let's say, March, January to March, right? Good. You can use the dates in between to do that kind of calculation, right? Good. So let's try the time, let's try the dates between function. Okay, so let's create our measure. After the measure, then you'll be creating it, right? You'll be creating measure. So let's create a new measure. Okay, so let's give it a name. So here we say that let's say sales, let's say profit in date range, profit in date range. Okay, good. Now here you wanted to calculate from so when you check the date, let's check the date. The dates we have 2014, 2013 here, right? So let's say you wanted to calculate the profit from January 1st, 2014 to, let's say June 2014, June 2014. That's June 1st or June 2014, right? So let's do that kind of calculation. So here we use the calculated function. Then we say profit sum profit close the function. Then let's come to the next line, sum profit, and here let's use the dates between. So say dates between, and then here we specify the date, right? So here you first specify the column. So we say date, specify the column, and then here followed by the starting date. So comma, we made the starting date, right? So the starting date, you say date, and then here you start with the year. So when you look there, this hints, you say that we have the year first, month, and then the day. So the year is 2014, and then the month is, we say, January to January 1st. Then let's close it, and then we move to the end date. So that one to say date, the end date, and here we specify the year. So the same 20 so 2014, sorry, it's 2014 rather, not 2024. Let's make it 2014. Good, 2014, not 2024. So 2014, and then the June is 6, and then followed by the day. Let's say June from January 1st, 2014 to, let's say, June 20th. Alright, good. And here we close the parentheses, and here that's the first close, and we close another one. That's the second one, this one, and then we add the last one, third one. So that's this one. So when we put the cursor here, this first bracket is for the date, the second one is for the between, and then the third one is for the main function, which is the calculate function. Right, good. So let's see. Okay, so we have this is the calculation here. Profit in date range. Oh, it's date range, right? I made it data range. I mean, correct it. This is date range, right? So let me do it date range. Okay, good. So profit in date range. Now let's go back to the report view and let's display it. So here still use the card to display it. So we have the card here, and then let me drag the profit in date range to here. Good. So this is the profit in date range from this to that, right? Yeah. So the title too, we can go to the format your visual, and then you can write the title here, that profit from, let's say, January to June. Good. Okay, and then here let's make it centered, and then let's make it bold, and then let's increase the font size. Okay, and then the label, this label, let's off the label. Good. So there's a profit from 2014, right? Okay, let add 2014 to it, so that you know that this is 2014. 2014. Okay, good. There's a profit, right, from June, so January 2014 to June 2014, right? Good. And you can also come out with some kind of analysis with this. So let's create a new page, and this page, let's say we wanted to know the profits of each country from 2014 January to June, right? So let's use a bar chart. You can use any chart, I mean, but one thing is that you have to, all the chart has, I mean, how ways of using it, right? So you have to know ways of using and when to use the charts. Yes. So let's the country, let me drag the country to where the country, let me search it here. Okay, so let me drag the country to X axis, and then the profit in range to Y axis. Good. So this one give me the profit of the countries, all the countries from January 2014 to June 2014, right? Good. Okay, so there's a time, one example. Now let's move on to the next example. Okay, so here let's talk about the date in period function. Now the date in period function is also one of the most important functions under the time intelligence function. So here, example, let's say that you wanted to calculate for the last 30 days profit, or last 30 days sales, or last 30 days so, right? Good. Here we can use the date in period to do that, right? Or you can even specify this date and you count, right? Good. Now let's see this. Let's say that you wanted to calculate for the last 30 days sales, right? Good. Let's see, last 30 days sales, Okay, so let's create a measure, new measure, and let's name it last 30 days sales. I'll say last 30 days sales. Good. Last 30 days sales. Okay, last 30 days sales. I'll still use the calculated function, and here I'll say sum of sales, so adding everything. Good. Here followed by the the actual function, which is the the date in period. So say date in period. Good. And the date in period, we will specify the date column. So we say date, the date column. Yeah, so this is the date column. Good. And then okay, and then let's say today's date. So if your data is up to today, you can use the today that's the current date. Right here we specify the current date. So here let me use today. So today is the current date. If your data is up to today, you can use today and then count back. Yeah, that's for the last 30 days. Good. And then here we are dealing with last 30 days. So here you bring minus 30, meaning that we are counting back. If it is positive, we are counting forward, right? Good. So let me use the minus, meaning we are counting back. And then we are dealing with what? We are dealing with day. So you can count last 30 days, last 30 months, last quarter, 30 quarter, and the last year, right? Good. So here we are dealing with day. So let me say day. So that's the last 30 days, right? Good. And here too we can change this side, the today. Alright, because the data, I don't think the data is up to today. So what we have to do is that here we can change, and then we can change today. The today here we can change it, and you specify the date, the starting date you wanted to count. Alright, good. Okay, so let's close the functions and let's see. Okay, so let's use this date, which is the 2014 December 1st December, right? 1st December 2024, and we wanted to count back. So that's the last 30 days, right? Good. So let's go back here to the report view, and then let's display it. Good. Last 30 days. Good. Now this is the last 30 days sales, right? Okay. Okay, there's a lot of this Dax function. I will send you a PDF for you to go through it. I mean, that one covers, it covered most of the Dax functions, right? For you to go through all of them. Yeah. Okay. So have a nice day.